Hello and welcome back to Dream Girl. Today we have the lovely Nikita Phulwani with us. She's the managing director of By Nikki, and I will let her do her own introduction. Welcome, Nikki.
Thank you so much.
You do go by Nikki, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I am more familiarly known as Nikki, or commonly, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
How did Nikita become Nikki?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Okay.
Do you want to know? I don't know.
I mean, it's up to you if you're happy to share that.
My cousin was staying with us, and she came back home one night, rather intoxicated.
Right.
And she just started calling me Niggy. Niggy. And somehow that stuck with me.
Stuck.
Even though when I visualize her saying it right now, I'm like, no. But like, I don't know. It just stuck with me. And then, I don't know, I think I changed my name on Instagram or something like that, called Nikki or something. And then that's it. It's just been Nikki since then.
And years later, your company is named after it. I love it.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, bye, Nikki. Okay, yes, that's it.
Oh
bye.
my God. All right, tell us about you.
So my name's Nikita.
Nice.
You know, there are times when someone tells me, please meet her. This is Nikita. And I'm like, oh,
that's me.
That's me. Right. I'm so used to hearing Nikki, like probably for the last decade or so. But yeah, I'm Nikita, 31-year-old girl here, born and raised in the UAE, in Dubai. Dubai is home for me. And I run a company called By Nikki, which is 5 years old as of this year. Yes. And we're into influencer marketing primarily, social media, etc. I love living my life to the fullest. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, there's so many things here that we need to deep dive into. First thing is you are into the influencer marketing industry.
Yes.
But you're also an influencer.
Funny enough, I don't like that word, but I have a page of my own. I like to say, yes, I have a bit of a public profile. Yes,
you're a content creator.
Ooh, content creator. Yes,
yeah, we love that.
That's the word we're using right now.
That.
Yes,
you know, it's really interesting because a lot of people have issues with the term influencer.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
I just think that when this industry was picking up, which is about maybe 2 to 3 years ago, there were some people who completely misused it. I mean, you know, I deal with all types of influencers on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, the ones who started early, or even if they started late, like there are some people who've grown organically or based on their merit or the content they create in terms of entertainment. And it comes with perks, right?
Yes.
Because yes, you get invited to cool places, you get sent the best things, you can charge for your posts, etc. It's an income generating role, right?
For sure.
And obviously the ones who maybe didn't have enough to offer or whatever, you know, wanted to take unfair advantage, bought some followers, bought some engagement, and they're like, I'm an influencer, I deserve this. And I'm like, no, honey, no one knows you, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, I think from that, there were some people we've had some I could write a book about the experiences that I've had with
I'm sure.
the entitlement. Don't get me wrong, I love my influencers or content creators. Yeah. We see the best results. Honestly, I'm the biggest believer of this form of marketing, and that's why you've seen it grow, you know. 5 years ago when I started, I think there were like maybe 1, 2, 3 agencies. Content creators were still kind of figuring things out and stuff like that. And today, like most big, you know, companies have a role, maybe even have teams dedicated to, you know, primarily working and engaging with influencers because it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are some people who maybe misuse that and like, you know, like push things a little, and that's why I think the negative connotation came, you know, with the word influencer. That's why we now call it content creator.
Yeah.
You know, in a more refined way, if we may say so.
All right, walk us through the journey of what brought you into that industry. How did you get started?
So I've always been in communications and PR. And I think when I was doing my first job, which was between 2013 and 2016, I was there for about 2.5 years. I was a part of the PR team. But that was when the shift was happening, you know, from traditional media platforms to the growth of, let's say, social media and content creators, etc. And I just, you know, skewed more towards that part. Like I just happened to build better relations with those online personalities and more genuine connections, and I just stuck with it, and I just enjoyed it so much more. And yeah, that's how I just, you know, kept doing more and more of it. So after I, you know, finished my job, I was freelancing for about a year and a half. And, you know, I just kept, you know, growing my experience within this industry. And also as a way of marketing, brands and, labels, etc. started believing a lot more in influencers and working, and, engaging. It was still very tippy-toe initial, but like it was literally the phase where you would see that transition, that monies were not being spent as much on traditional media platforms. Now they were like making the switch because people were consuming that, form of data a lot more, like, on social. So yeah.
For sure. But then, I mean, I'm going to go back to your personal journey.
Sure.
Obviously, you went from having a job to then
Right.
freelancing to then setting up your own company.
Yeah.
What were the challenges with that? How did you deal with going from freelancing to opening your own company?
So funny enough, I've always seen my dad run his business,
Okay.
right? So I feel like the entrepreneurial gene is in me.
It was there.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
And even if I pull up my vision board from grade 12 or third year of university, you'd always see the words, I am my own boss.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah. So I had it. Like, I exactly know what my vision board from year 3 university looks like, because by God's grace, it's there. It's all happening. It's my life right now. So I always knew I have to do something of my own. At one point of time, I thought I'll have my own bakery because I was obsessed with cakes. Still am. So I knew I'm gonna do something of my
Right.
own. Now, what kind of pushed me to register by Niggi and formalize the company, funny enough, was the introduction of VAT in the UAE.
It was the law.
Yeah, exactly. Because, for the year of 2017, when I was freelancing and, getting influencers for some of the biggest brands in the world, I was thinking of it as a solo operation. I was making good money for one human being, and like, I was like, yeah, that's it. We can keep going. But like, because in 2018, VAT came into place and the work I was doing was growing, I was like, like, you need to kind of formalize your stuff, and like, you can't take any risks, and stuff like that. And that's how my baby by Niggi was born.
Yeah.
The thing is, now that I think about it, I'm so glad that, it's VAT that pushed me to do it, because we're always scared, like, oh, a company?
Yeah.
A company. And when I started, I didn't think, so today we're a team of nearly 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't think I would have a team of 20. I thought it'd be like me, maybe like one more intern.
Yeah.
And like, that's it. That's going to be my cute little company, and stuff like that. And I think the challenge that I can think of is starting and thinking that you're ready. I think you're never going to think you're ready. Just do it.
Right.
Just do it. And I'm so glad that VAT was that extra push for me. But I think, that may seem like a challenge, but sometimes you're like, no, let me do this also. I'll be a little more ready. I'll be doing, no, just do it. If your gut says you should, and if you feel very strongly about what you do, like, passion to me is very important, because for me, I think it's the driver, and you can tell. So yeah, I think that could be a little bit of a challenge, but like, don't let the nerves get the best of you,
I love that.
Yeah.
The just do it. Honestly, you're so right. Even with the podcast, I kept waiting until I was ready. And when can I film? But then I was like, I will
Just do
never
it.
feel ready.
Exactly.
Right? I
Exactly.
will have to learn by doing.
Absolutely.
That's the only
I'm
way.
so glad you started.
I'm so glad too.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think, okay, you said you went from being a solo entrepreneur to being someone who now has a team of 20.
Right.
How was that transition?
Not easy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I think till today, it's hard. Because there are a couple of things, right? So I was working at one of the biggest brands in the world. Like, if I say the name, you wouldn't need a second introduction.
Of course.
Right? When I started my company, I'm like, first of all, I was like, how do I motivate these people to work at this company that like is one day old?
Right.
Or like 6 months old,
Yeah.
right? Because it should become a place that people want to join, or like, what are they doing and stuff like that. But more than that, I think what entrepreneurship or leading a team teaches you is that I can take guarantee for myself, right? Like, I know,
that's easy.
like,
Yeah.
But when your team goes from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, how do you motivate them? How do you hold them accountable? How do you train them? How do you push them? How do you get the best of them? How do you help them grow?
Yes.
How do you see growth for them? I'm not a believer of being a team leader where I take. No. We give and take. We learn from each other. We make this the best situation for however long it lasts, right? So I think for me to learn that as to, okay, I'm motivated, maybe, but like, how do I make sure this person is? Or like, how do I understand what they're feeling or what they're not? Like, for them, maybe I'm the boss and maybe they will never open up to me.
Yeah.
So what is my company culture? What do we stand for? Is it an open door policy, or is it like, no, I'm the boss? Like, I know my principles, I know my ethics, I know my nature, but how do I ensure that the wider team understands that? So I think that transition, that knowing, going from one person to, or even decisions like how much should this person be paid?
Yeah.
What should be their job responsibility? Like
Exactly.
I don't know all this. And like, it was my first job before this. So I'd always been in a reporting role.
Yeah.
I've never had someone under me. So why should this person work for me? So I feel like I think seeing my dad as a boss has definitely helped.
Okay.
Kind of understanding the dynamic. I think that people management has been, until date, my biggest challenge, my biggest learning, my biggest reward, all of it. Because you learn something new every day.
Oh, yeah.
And I've gotten so much better. But yeah, I think that from going from that employee to employer has got to be, the people aspect of it for sure.
Oh, definitely. The reason I asked is because I don't have a team, but I do have an editor and a PA, things like that, people who manage things for me. But even that, when they're remote, it's still hard to know, am I doing a good job at communicating? Do they know, is it coming across that I'm happy with what they're doing? How do you give feedback? How do you give constructive feedback?
Exactly.
Right? It's all things that you need to learn and you need to think about as well. But I also noticed that this is a thing that female leaders tend to think more about. So this is what I was going to ask you. Do you think that you being a woman brings out the empathy a lot more into your company culture value?
I'm just trying to think. I've never had a male boss.
Okay.
No, my boss was an incredible, strong woman.
That explains it.
Yeah, but obviously, like the director and stuff were men in that company. But I didn't engage that much with them. But like, I have other friends who are entrepreneurs. I'm not sure I have the answer to that question, but I definitely have seen some men who are like, oh, whatever, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, or like, for example, like tomorrow, if one of my team members tells me that, her cramps are really bad or whatever it is, because some women do get really bad period cramps. Yeah. Like my best friend, there's hours that she cannot get out of bed when she gets her period. I don't know how comfortable a female team member would be, to tell that to her male boss versus me. So I don't know if that counts as an example, but like, I'd understand. But then again, I'm not gonna, like, let's say there's a very immediate deadline. Male, female, come on. Like, work is work, right?
Work is work.
But I do feel like I'm an empathetic person in general. And I do feel like I bring that, to mother culture of my company, because when I've needed support from my team, we all can have high days and low days. I've needed support from my team. I know they've been there. And just like that, I want to be there for them. If it's reasonable,
of course.
Work can't suffer at the end of the day. Yeah.
But that's the thing, because I feel like I've worked in all kinds of companies.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of times the leader has the right feelings and really has the right intention.
Right.
But what advice would you give in terms of how to actually put into practice? How do you create that culture at work that matches the company's value?
I think first of all, identify it. I think in the first year or two, I did not know what my company culture needs to be. But what happened is there were some people that came into the company, let's say after a year or two, I just didn't feel the alignment. That's when I realized something's off, but I don't know what's off. Like, I didn't have the words. And that's when I understood, this is not aligned with what I believe or my line of leadership. And that's when I understood, this is messing with my company culture. And what I've realized is reiterating those words. When something happens that is very aligned with the company culture, you say it out loud. You specify it. You explicitly mention it. You reinforce those key words constantly to your team, because teams are ever evolving, ever changing, and then it registers. So if I do something that is very in line with who I am as a leader or very in line with my company culture, I say it out loud. If someone new is hired, the first thing that they do is they sit with the HR to get the usual induction. And then I will make sure I spend at least 10 minutes with them where I talk about things that matter to me. Trust, communication, respect, and I mention them. And I tell them that these things are non-negotiable.
Yes.
So if something goes wrong, we'll be in trouble, So my policy is over communication. Like, I just want you to communicate with me. If something's gone wrong with the project, if things are going wrong in life, whatever it is, just tell me.
I just need to know.
I just need to know, and I'll be there with you. That's it. Don't keep me in the dark.
Right.
That's it. So I kind of do these things wherein their very first hour or day or whatever it is has to have those words that are innate to my company culture, like, so those are things I do.
I love that. And you know, as you said, you have been learning and you've been growing as a leader. And we discussed this earlier, the whole thing about coaching.
Right.
What is your view about coaching?
I think entrepreneur, senior leader, or maybe anyone in life. Anyone in life. I have seen my coaches provide me with the best guidance in the world. And I am the biggest believer of having a coach, whether it's a business coach who can help you grow your business 10x, or someone who teaches you the basics, or someone who is a life coach, who's working on your mindset.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, we're humans running the business. We have to work with people. And what energy you give out, what values you stand for are core. And me, I've had a couple of coaches, and my first one I got when it was 2020. And I mean, I've seen the best results, and I vouch for this, and I vouch for this investment. At the end of the day, it's like investing in yourself, right? There are moments where I don't know the answer. I do not. But guess what? I'm the one who needs to make the decision, right? Or I have it here in my gut, but I don't know if it's, and I don't want to do wrong by anyone. And maybe I don't want to take it to my dad, and I don't want to take it to my mom because they don't understand what I do, or I don't want to put them under pressure, like, oh my God, something's wrong at work. And that's when my coaches have been the best guiding, or they've taught me certain tools and techniques that help me ask certain questions and then get the answer and then understand. Or let's say I took a decision, something went wrong. My mindset is strong enough to then take care of it.
That's
right?
wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, and these things I think have come through constant learning, and constant learning through my coaches, and understanding that the best investment that you will ever make is in yourself. Physically, mentally, spiritually, and like there's no age that you should stop learning. That's it. Like that, these are just truly my beliefs.
Agreed. I love what you said, because you know, nowadays I think you've experienced this as well, where you go from being an employee to being an employer. And there are a lot of people who are in that. And then you go from working for yourself, and now suddenly you have a team of people. It doesn't mean that you automatically have the skills now, right?
You don't.
So you need the help. And that's when coaches come in.
Right.
And I think maybe given that you've had the experience, a positive experience of coaches, what would you say is the role of a coach? How do they approach anything with you? Because people just tend to assume, oh, it's just someone who will speak to me. Why am I paying them? You know?
Given my experience, I think my coaches have taught me, like I said, certain tools and techniques that I can practice on a day-to-day basis. Some of my coaches have just asked me certain, like, you know, they don't tell, like, it's not about, oh no, do this, do that, or whatever it is. Certain ways of looking at things or certain questions that they ask will guide you to the answer. And then you will know that because you already have the answer, you knew what you wanted to do. Or sometimes, like, one of my coaches believes a lot in neuroscience.
Right.
So backed by science, she teaches me certain things. And then when I practice them, I've gotten into the habit of daily journaling purely thanks to my coach.
Okay.
Thanks to my coach. So what happened is I took a holiday and I stopped journaling. Okay. And then I was like, and then I got on my, call, and I'm like, listen, I'm sorry. And then a couple of weeks later, it happened again. And she's like, you know what? Till you don't show me 21 days of consistent journaling, I'm not going to get on our next session. And I was like, no, I need you. So I was doing constant journaling, and then I had a bit of a, you get busy or whatever it is. Yeah. Although it takes 3 minutes. You can't be that busy, right? My point is that daily journaling has helped me realize and manifest and, feel what I want happening through the day. And I'm a big believer of manifestation, okay? But like manifestation doesn't just happen by saying, oh, I'm so positive, and like, no. Like you say, but you do.
Of course.
You practice. That's where the confidence comes from. And so it's a process. It's not one thing. It's not this. So for example, the coaches can teach you certain tools and techniques that are guaranteed to improve the quality of your life.
Right.
To make you see a scenario in a way where you understand how to deal with it and find the answers from within. And sometimes just help you see your potential, because we all are in positions where we second guess ourselves. Right? Make you believe in yourself more. I've also been in situations where my coaches have just helped me prioritize, again through asking certain questions, tools and techniques. So I absolutely thank and love and respect all my coaches and thank them so much for everything they've done.
No, absolutely. It's like having a third party, right? Who doesn't have any emotional involvement in what you're trying to decide or deal with.
And just give you a very objective, right opinion based on either life experiences, science, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Amazing. So now tell us, how is it being this? You are basically the CEO, right? You're like the managing director. What is that like on a day-to-day basis?
It is my most rewarding, yet my most I don't even know what the I mean, I love it. Challenge. I don't like to, I mean, like, I think a challenge is always good because challenges always teach you something. But there are days where it gets really tough. Like, I just put up a TikTok the other day where I'm like, you know what? Go for entrepreneurship if you're thick-skinned.
Yes.
Like, you get ready to do the best things in the world. I'm the worst. A day in the life of a CEO is a lot of decision making, a lot of emotional control.
Yes.
A lot of people management. A lot of thinking, creative thinking. If you're in my field, which is comms, creative thinking, digital.
Yes.
A lot of good things. Like when I see my team come in, enjoy the work they do, or when we bag a new client, like I wish I can tell someone the feelings I have because I get so excited and like I there's a lot of gratitude also that I practice. So it's a bunch of emotions. It's dealing with difficult situations. It's also being in good situations when your clients call you, thank you for the good work. Or when you see your team bag a cover.
Just smashing it,
I was just like, you know, like I feel really proud also. You know, I sometimes feel like, I think my job as a CEO and as a woman, on days I feel my most masculine self because, you know, like I think your masculine energy just doubles. Like we all have feminine and masculine energy in ourselves. Yeah, that happens. And then there are moments where I'm just proud, like really, really proud. I tell my team, I was like, I don't even need to become a mother because all my maternal instincts are like, you know, practiced here. Yeah, it's here, you know. And sometimes it's very like, telling someone off or like not being able to do their job. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of responsibility taking also. So it's an emotional roller coaster on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but one of my favorites.
I mean, you're clearly doing something right because your team seems to love you. I saw that video for your birthday where they all dressed up as you, right?
Yeah, this year what they did is they all put on masks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, I walked in and I'm like, okay, this is creepy. This is enough. Like, the world can only handle one Nikita, can we not? But it was the sweetest thing, honestly. Like, my birthday was so sweet. Like, honestly, I felt so loved that day. And, like, I felt good. Thank you, my team.
Oh, that's so sweet. But you're right. Being an entrepreneur does require thick skin. I also started that journey recently. And I describe my job as just being a plumber. Right. I feel like every day you find a new leak somewhere that you need to fix.
I love how you put it. You know, one of my coaches used to say, you know what an entrepreneur does, right? Oh, what? You're a glorified clerk. That's all you gotta do. You gotta chase, hey, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Is this done? And I'm like,
oh, the
wow,
admin.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, people on social media today make entrepreneurship seem like a cakewalk. Now, this is what.
Sexy, yeah.
Yeah, oh my God, like, be on boss and like, whatever, make the money. No, it's not as easy. And like, it's really not. It's not. It's work. It's hard work, it's determination, it's constant, it's perseverance, it's a lot of things. So yes, it's rewarding, but it comes with its own, you know, work. And I don't understand when people say like it's easy or like they make it seem like, because that's deceptive. Like that's not fair. That's not fair, you know.
It is.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, no 2 days are the same as well as an entrepreneur. You can never just plan your week and be like, I know exactly what I'm doing every day.
I mean, I try, but I'm like, oh wow, this happened and that's happened. Like,
yeah, definitely. But it is rewarding as well, for sure. So
most rewarding.
Of course. So, okay. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the industry you're in now, because, of course, you work with a lot of content creators, you work with brands, and you yourself create content. Yeah. So as you said, this is an industry that's budding. I completely agree. Yeah. And even looking at the McKinsey reports recently, they're saying how all the budgets are going to go into influencer
digital
marketing.
Content.
Right? But do you see any kind of like issues that could come up in that industry? Because right now it is quite crowded as well. There is a lot of misuse as well of the social media platforms, but also there's a lot of regulation that's coming in to monitor all these platforms. Where do you see it going?
I mean, I think there is definitely a lot of misuse and people buying engagement, buying views just because they can make another few extra dollars. But I think those kind of pages are going to be short-lived. I think today when we look for creators, for brands, we don't just look for, oh, how many views she has or whatever it is, depending on campaigns. My most meaningful campaigns will have someone who is probably a content creator, an entrepreneur, a hiker, or something. Like, there needs to be more,
all-rounded.
More.
Yeah.
Because, look, I am also the biggest believer of the fact that whatever it is that you're doing, you're making cakes at home, you're sewing something, you're painting, put yourself out there.
Agreed.
Put yourself out there. So there's a possibility that everyone's gonna have a page that they call themselves a content creator, and please do. Social media, we find some amazing people to work with, on social media. So go for it. But I think the ones that are faking it are not gonna last long. They're not. I mean, there are systems and tools, etc., through which we can vet. And the more and more people are doing, you understand that you could get someone who's wearing multiple hats, and that's substance. Brands are also going after people who are known, who are popular, or who have substance. I also feel like there's a huge shift in brands working with niche content creators. It's not just about, how many million followers or, subscribers you have. No, I'm a sustainable brand, and this influencer has 40,000 followers, but guess what? She is 100% living on that very environment friendly, I don't care. I'm going to work with her because she's going to touch my audience in a more foolproof way. So there are always going to be challenges, and I think brands just need to put in that extra effort, or we don't do a check purely on a quantitative basis. I will always have a qualitative check. I tell the brand, listen, her numbers are good, but I don't know where they come from.
Right.
I mean, I don't shy away. I like to educate the brand about whatever I know, and I always look at it that way. And that's how more and more people are going to look at it, I feel.
Right. Yeah. And do you have any tips for content creators, for myself, for example, who are trying to, grow on social media?
I think consistency is key.
Of course.
That is the most important thing. I think keep it engaging, right? Keep it educational or entertaining. At the end of the day, the audience should find something that they get from you. And unfortunately, fortunately, the algorithm is a little up and down. Don't let that come in the way of, you doing whatever you have to. Listen, I have 42,000 followers, okay? Nothing. That's nothing in this world of millionaires that exist. I don't care. I don't let numbers define me. I know when I put something out there, my audience reacts, they understand, they engage, and they listen. And that's it. That's all that matters to me. Does it sometimes frustrate me when I see that some work that should come to me is going to someone else? Yes, it does. I cry about it for exactly 2 seconds, and then I move on with my life. I will still post the next video that I want to. I mean, even if the world disappears, my mom is definitely liking it.
Oh, yeah.
But no, going back to, I feel keep it authentic. Keep it authentic. Be consistent. See what's trending, capitalize a little on trends, play the game the way you're meant to.
Of course.
And have fun with it.
Of course.
Have fun with it.
I think if you're not enjoying it as well, it's really hard to keep going.
It's going to show.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So that's my take on it.
Amazing. And what about for brands? What tips do you have for brands when it comes to working with influencers?
I think wet them well. Work with us. No, and again, I say this all the time, don't just go by the number of followers. There are some beautiful content creators that may not have the maddest numbers, but can give you, really, really good results. And I always ask brands, what is your objective? Is it awareness? Is it sales? Because chances are I'm going to work with 2 completely different people, keeping in mind the objective. Yeah. So understand and lay out what your objective is, and based on that, identify, then place who you should be working with.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good advice, actually, because I feel like a lot of the other social media agencies I've worked with, they seem to not think like that. Yeah. It's just a money-making machine.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make the money, but I feel if a brand tells me, listen, Nikki, I don't care about sales. I don't care about awareness. I need to build the association in a certain way. My creator will be different. If you tell me sales, my creator will be different.
Yes.
If you tell me awareness, my brain thinks differently. And I think we've seen the best results when we've tried to pick the creator based on objective. You know, so, and I think that's what it should be. And I do not limit myself to numbers. I don't like that. You know, maybe that's because of what I see and observe on my page, but yeah.
Of course. And now you as a content creator, where do you see yourself going? What's your plan with it?
I want to do more in terms, I feel like with my audience, what really resonates is when I talk about fitness.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get
health,
into that.
when I talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And just mindset. And all I know, I don't know if I'll ever make it to 1 million, 2 million. That's never my agenda. I'm going to keep it authentic.
Yes.
Because if I lie, you'll see it through my face.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep it authentic. I'm going to do things that I like. I will always try to provide something that may help someone, you know, even if it's one person. And that's it. My job is done. That's it. I haven't thought about it, but like, yeah.
No, I love that because you know how sometimes you post these little rants on your stories. I love that. And I feel like it's so relatable. And I'm sure you get a lot of messages that tell you this is relatable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I do. Or yeah, I put up things that are really like, it's me, you know, and like, yes, a lot of the times we realize that what we're complaining about is what maybe 10 other people are complaining about. So it's okay. I used to complain a lot. Thank God I've stopped because that's a bit risky. But yeah, I all I know is that I'm going to keep it authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
okay, you touched on to the fitness journey,
Right.
and you've had a very impressive body transformation.
Yes.
So let's get into that now.
Right.
So how did you get started on that journey?
How is through social media.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course. No, I think 2020 peak. I mean, I was always big. Honestly speaking, I was chubby, happy-go-lucky girl. You know, going from size 18 to 20 to 22 to 24. Getting to 24, I'm sure it was hard. I think it was playing somewhere in my head. You know, and that was 2020. I think during lockdown itself, I must have put on like 5 to 8 kilos because
Everybody did.
Yeah. But when you're 110 and then you go to 118, I was like, I don't know, like those are not 8 kilos. They may feel like 80, right? I mean, anyway, that still didn't bother me. I was still like, whatever, life's good, we're big, you know. And like, that's it. But I'm such a nice person. Oh my God.
My
I'm so
personality
loving.
is great.
Oh my God. God. And then, yeah, I just was approached, you know, by someone who's known for transformations. And I gave it a shot I was like, who cares? 10 sessions means nothing. I'll just go and finish. And like, I'll post some stories and khalas.
But that's already quite a big leap here, the fact that you actually took it.
I think, you know, the thing is, I ask myself this question, how? Why? I do not know. 28th of July 2020, when I had that meeting, how did I end up on that meeting? I just do not know how. What went into me?
Right.
Because I wouldn't even open a DM like that. And like, you know, I still remember, I'm like, oh, I haven't stepped into a gym in like 10 years. Like, this is going to be challenging.
Yeah.
And this person's like, I love a challenge. And I'm like, oh God, like, you know, I was like, okay. There you go. You know, and and like I think things changed, and then like I think in 10 sessions, which lasted me about 3 weeks, I just started seeing results because obviously this girl who used to drink a soda for when she's thirsty is now actually drinking water.
Ooh.
So even though it was really hard for me and I cried a lot and I didn't understand, like I felt like there was fog in my brain with the lack of carbs, you know. But I don't know why I just kept up with it because I didn't want to disappoint my trainer. And I don't know, maybe I was scared. Maybe I don't know what it was. But like, I don't think anybody had held my hand through the process this way. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just, you know what, Nikki, like, we'll just listen to everything that he has to say. You know, like, that's it. No questions asked. And it was very annoying. Like, there were too many tears. There were too many arguments. There was almost an argument on everything. Like, why do you need me to step on the treadmill? Why do you want me to speed 5? Why should I lift the dumbbell from left? Everything was argued. yet everything was patiently answered.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, fine, like let's just, do it. And it's not like I hadn't worked out before, but I had tried a couple of times, so I was familiar. But
this is intense.
This is intense, and this is like I'm talking when I was in grade 12. I'm like, oh, what else? There's no, like, the body is completely different, and and yeah, one thing led to another, and as of about what date are we in? May? Yeah, as of maybe like mid-April, I'm like 600 sessions down.
Wow.
So a journey that started in 2020, we're in 2023. I think I've been consistently working out since August 2020.
Wow. So it was a really change in lifestyle, right? Yeah.
Everything. And to anyone who is looking for that kind of a change, I just want to let you know that it doesn't come in one day. Nuh-uh. I think it took me 8 months to actually realize that this is something I enjoy. 8 months. 8 months, maybe. Easy 8 to 10 months. Which is like, okay, I was still like against the process, whatever it is, challenging everything.
But when did you start seeing changes?
I lost 8 kilos in my first month.
Oh.
Yeah, but you
surely
need to understand.
Helps
it's
you, right?
100%. Yeah. But you're 118 kilos, man. So the bigger you are, the more you'll shed initially,
of course,
right?
Initially, yeah.
So I think the first month I lost about 8 kilos. Second month was maybe another 8 or 6, I don't know. But 4 months down, I was 30 kilos down.
Wow.
7 months down, I was 42 kilos down.
Oof.
And 12 months down, I was 50 kilos down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was so good.
You must have been so proud that day.
I was proud.
Right?
Yeah, I was proud. I was really proud.
Oh, wow. And you did it in such a sustainable way as well, because now it's a change of lifestyle, right?
Yeah, I think more than sustainable, I'd say it's consistency. I just kept going, or like my program was designed in a way where it was just like, that's it. And then, I think maybe it was the fact that I was paying for personal training, which made me feel a little more obligated. Like, hey, listen, number one, someone's waiting for you. You can't miss a session. Number two, you've paid for this. Can't let that go. And number three, like, because initially I wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like, I would find any excuse.
Of course.
Like, I can't.
I'm ill.
I'm like, bro. But then I also love seeing the results.
There you go.
So in 1 month, when you lose,
you get addicted to that.
I'm like, okay, let's see what happens in month 2.
Yeah.
And I still remember in month 2, I didn't make my goal. I was like, what is this? That's it. Like, so I became obsessed with the process. But, and I have to thank my online community.
Really?
Oh my God, you have no idea. Bless those beautiful souls on Instagram. I still remember, it was my second session because I did not have the guts to record my first session. I looked like I don't even know what. The second session, I had the guts to record something only because my trainer pushed me. And then I had the guts to upload it. I'm like, oh my God, let me upload it. And I still remember this person. They weren't meant to reply to me. They were trying to forward my story to one of their friends, and they're like, oh my God, look, she's trying. It's so good to see that.
Oh.
And I'm like, you know what? I replied, I'm like, you know what? This wasn't meant for me.
That's fine.
Oh, thank you. I think, I swear. And over the course of the months and years, till date, oh my God, I love you, Instagram family. You, like, I swear. So many of them, they heard me cry. They heard me complain about the same salmon I had every day. They heard me complain about the fact that I can't jump, and sent me a positive message. You have no idea. And this is where I love Instagram, and I'm always going to keep it authentic, because the love, the support, the blessings I get online I'm lucky.
That's so wholesome. It is true. I feel like a lot of times we hear people talking about the hate comments and things like that, but no one really talks about the love that you get as well, because of course there's both worlds.
Yeah.
But the love you get and the support you get,
it's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's amazing. Even on the days I'll be like, oh, I think today McDonald's is on its way. I'll get people saying, no, Nikki, no, you don't need it. You don't need a burger. You're doing good. You're working so hard. Don't do this. Come on, have a cheat meal on the weekend. And I'm like, I have my accountable people here.
You do.
Like, I don't even So I love my Instagram family.
I love that. Yeah. And I think that that's really beautiful for you to share that, because you very rarely hear the positive sides of having putting yourself online is really hard, and you're literally sharing your personal life with people. And honestly, the love that you get is just
It's
incredible, especially when you realize that they pay attention to little details and little messages.
I know, and it's like, what did I must have done something right, to deserve this, and it's amazing. So I'm obsessed with chai, Indian tea.
Yes.
And I swear, I'm obsessed with two things: chai and Aditya Roy Kapoor. Okay. Yeah. I mean, do you blame me? Like,
have you heard that he might be dating that girl
doesn't
now?
matter.
Okay, sorry.
When that news came out that he might be dating her, do you know how many people sent me that?
So everybody made sure you knew.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's my online audience. They know who I love and who I don't, and they send it to me. They're like, Nikki, how are you okay with it, Nikki? I'm like, guys, we don't focus on these.
We'll deal with it.
We'll deal with it.
But you've met him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's another story of manifestation, to be honest with you.
We'll get into that. Finish your chai story.
No, that's it. I'm telling you that they know these little details.
Right.
And they share these, trending audios related to chai or these memes with me. That shows that they're listening.
Exactly.
So I don't care if I have 4 million followers or 42,000. I have an audience that loves me, and I thank them and I appreciate them. And that's why I also go back to the education point of it, or putting out something that will help someone.
Yeah.
So when I find something genuinely amazing, it could be a dress, it could be a lipstick, it could be it could be a cream, I put it out there. Because you really never know who needs that piece of information. A lot of people like to hide these things, and I'm like, oh. Or like, I don't wait for a brand to approach me like, hey, do an ad about it. No, I like this, go, do it. Like go, get yourself, like whatever it is. Someone else might need that help. That's just my approach towards my page.
Nice. Well, I want to hear that manifestation story about Aditya. Let's go.
So, they always have this thing where they say, oh, don't put your plans out there. Or like some people say, no, put it out there. Let the universe hear it.
Oh,
right?
the idea of nazar, right?
Yeah, nazar and stuff like that. So now I am obsessed with Aditya Roy Kapoor. Right? We are going to get married, okay?
We know that,
Yeah, exactly. It's just, we're just
question of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So I've been putting out Aditya Roy Kapoor on my stories. Like it would be Christmas and I'd be like, guys, it's Christmas. I'm ready for my gift. You can send Aditya home. It's fine. I'm ready. So I would put out these things, and like, this is like all of 2021 and everything, or whatever it is. It's like somewhere around June 2022 or like May, like last year this time. I get a call. And this person's like, hi, is this Nikita? I said, yes, this is her. I heard you run a PR agency. I said, yes. Actually, I work for, a production company. And, we're working towards the PR of this new movie called Om, which stars Aditya Roy Kapoor. And I need an agency to, help me run the whole show and like plan the event. And I was like, first I was quiet. Then I yelled. Okay, I yelled, and then I said, sorry, that was Nikki. This is Nikita here. Sorry, what? I'm like, wait, what did you just say? Like, is this happening for real? And I mean, it was the sweetest story, because he told me that his wife follows me and she saw that I'm obsessed, and she also knows that I have a PR agency. So she recommended it to her husband.
Oh,
bless her soul.
God, she made it work for you.
And can you imagine? Can you imagine this? And thanks to her husband considered us, and then I met him, and then I pitched, and then, things happen. And that's how things happen. And not just that, listen to this. So I did not tell anybody that I'm working, like we've got the account, because I was like, I don't know, what if something goes wrong?
Yeah.
And in the middle, like, he got COVID, his plans were canceled, and I'm like, girl, you have to show up here.
Come on.
And like, so I was like, you know what, I'm not going to tell anyone anything till it actually happens.
Yes.
So a lot of people did not know. 3 people, 2 of which were from media. So they had the opportunity to interview, right? Because when stars come in, the press has to interview. So one of them from a leading digital show online, and one of them from a leading radio station, right?
Right.
They didn't know that it's us or whatever it is.
Right.
These 2 people have called me and told me, listen, we might have a chance to meet him. Do you think you want to tag along and be our plus one? Can you believe it? Can you believe it? If this isn't manifestation.
Everyone was working for you from all fronts.
And then I'm like, do you know who's handling this? And they're like, shut up. And not just that, one of my closest friends, he's a DJ. And he, DJs in a lot of leading clubs. He's like, he calls me Appa, and he's like, Appa, listen, I think the club that I'm playing at that night might be hosting him. I've already told them that we need to get you a meet and greet. So I'm working towards it. And I'm like,
That is so sweet.
This is phenomenal.
Literally,
I'm
the
lucky.
universe is working for you.
Yeah. And that happened because I put it out there.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's why I feel like, yeah, obviously I have to work towards it. Like we need to be able to provide that service. But I think everything that happened with that story is just amazing for me. Like, I mean, I love it. Like, it's my favorite story to tell, you know? So don't be nervous. Yes, I do believe in Nazar, but sometimes putting it out there and saying things out loud and believing and working towards them or whatever it is might just work in your favor.
Right.
You know, one of the things that was on my vision board last year was that I want to do more with Bollywood. Okay. And I still remember one of my other dear friends helped us secure a launch event for Masaba Gupta. She's one of the
Love
leading.
her.
Exactly. Love her as a personality, love her work. And then that had a snowball effect on like other things perhaps. I've done some work in for Bollywood stars because of my job.
Yes.
My point is that like that vision board exercise, that coming out there, putting things out there, I just if this isn't manifestation, what is?
And you never know who can help and how,
exactly.
right?
You never
Clearly
know.
your story tells us this.
So,
Wow.
I mean, no one had to do what they did.
No.
She did not have to speak to her husband. He did not have to even consider us. He could have worked with his regular vendors. And I'm so glad. And guess what? Then I saw him and then I told him I love him.
Oh, of course you did. Now he knows.
Yeah, day one I was quiet. I was hiding in some corner. I was just smiling I was too nervous. And then day two, I went up to him and I was like, listen.
You need to know.
Yeah, you need to know. And I've sent you very creepy DMs. I apologize. He's like, oh, really? Okay.
He's
I'm like,
probably
we're not going to open them now.
Yeah, let's not look into that.
Yeah, let's not look into that. But yeah.
Okay, well, before we wrap up, I just have a final question for you. I'm also 30.
Right.
We are both in our 30s now. So how do you find life in your 30s, especially, because it's an unconventional pathway. You have your own company. You're not married yet. We're brown.
Yeah.
How is that going?
So, I've never shared this, but I will. I love my 30-year-old self. Right.
Good.
When most people, when they turn 30, they get really scared. I was so excited to turn 30. At 30, my health was in check. My mind was in check. I was more aware of things I want to do professionally and personally that could come in from the vision boarding exercises or having clarity. And I think one of the key things that happens as you mature is that you realize you don't need 200 people around you. Yeah. I think because of the things that happened to me, through 2020, I understood that I was the biggest people pleaser that you could find. Like for me, having 16 people around me was, imperative, and like understanding that I can be by myself and that's good. And, those kind of things have happened, but they also come with age.
Of course.
And I learned how to embrace them. And that is phenomenal for me. I love my 30-something-year-old self. About being not married and brown, or not brown even, I think companionship is key.
Definitely.
And does it get lonely? It absolutely does get lonely. And as you grow older, you become more and more particular about what you want and what you don't want.
Less flexible.
Yes, you're less flexible. That doesn't mean that I'm going to think of myself as though there is a ticking, machine or whatever it is. I'm not going to compromise. I know what I want, and I want the other person to also know what they want. But if you ask me, I don't know, maybe I'd say that if you have the opportunity and if you have the chance, do get married between 23, 26, because companionship is important. And work is great, all of that is good. I'm not saying get lazy or whatever it is, but everything needs to happen in its own time. Like, I don't pressurize myself that it just because it hasn't happened. But if I could, I would get my younger sisters or cousins married, like between the age of 23 and 28, probably.
No, you're right. Also, because at that age, you have access to a lot more people of the opposite gender who are like you. And it's easier to find someone. And as you said, you're a bit more flexible. You can grow together.
Yeah, you can grow together.
Definitely agreed.
Yeah. But do I beat myself up that I'm single? No.
No. Life is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, on this very positive note, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you.
And best of luck with Bhai Nigi.
Thank you. Best of luck with the podcast and everything else that you're doing.
And I'll wait for the wedding card invitation with Aditya.
Let's think of a hashtag after this.
Yeah, we need to. All right. Thank you so much.
You.